a little bit late tonight, but got carried away talking to Deb about stuff, and wow, such a wonderful story for so many people, because tonight, like I've been speaking with Deb and how she actually went through her life with child abuse with a father figure and someone that was close to them. And, a lot of us go and get help, and a lot of us start court proceedings, etc., when this actually happens. But Deb has chosen to do it a whole different way around. And to me, I felt like inspired by that, the fact that how you went about it. But let's just go back to, because I get carried away with, calm down, it's okay, we're here, we're live, and it's going to be over and done with before you know it. So say hi to Deb. And how do you pronounce your surname, Debbie?
Oh, it's Frugtniet.
Frugtniet.
Yeah.
Frugtniet. Okay.
Much fancier to say than, simpler to say than it is to write.
Okay, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it is a beautiful name.
So let's go way back to when the child abuse started. So you were, what, 5?
Yeah, I was 5. Mum and Dad separated, and Mum, so a bit after Mum and Dad separated, from 5 to 13, there was a person in our life that, was doing that.
So was that on a regular basis for you?
Yeah, most nights.
Most nights. Okay, yeah. So did you question it? Like, did you think that there was something wrong with it? Did you have that feeling that there's something wrong?
Oh, absolutely. I think at 5, you know what's right from wrong, but you also are taught to trust people, and you're taught to, do as you're told, and when you're told not to say anything, you don't say anything. And so there was a lot of manipulation, and as I got older, the manipulation got darker and heavier, and so, there's a lot of fear-mongering in that. So I definitely knew it wasn't right. It didn't feel right. And as I got older, obviously, I worked out exactly what was going on, but I knew it was wrong.
And we were saying also that your sister was involved in a similar situation, and she would have dealt with it a lot differently than you. So did you tell anybody?
No, and neither of us knew about the other.
So your sister didn't know about you, and she didn't know.
And I didn't know about her. Oh. No, I didn't tell anyone until I was 13. And the first person I told, thankfully, and if I could thank her today, I would. But the first person I told was at 13, and then the next day she told the teacher. So, and then it was after that I found out that it had happened. Yeah, wow. to Rach as well.
So, have you ever spoken about it, the two of you, your sister and yourself?
Yeah, of course we've spoken about it, but we don't talk a lot about it because we don't want it to kind of be, that's a previous chapter in our lives. We've both got much nicer things to discuss these days.
So you were saying to me earlier when we were talking that the way that you coped with it was that you didn't want to give it any more energy, that it'd have enough of your beautiful energy over the years, that enough was enough, and you just decided you were not going to give it any more energy. Yeah,
that's definitely how the last 10 or 15 years have been. Obviously early on, as you process things differently as you get older, and I have a lot to be grateful for, and I've got an incredible marriage and a beautiful family, and the support of my sister and my siblings, and I had mum and my family around to look after me, and I just when I met my husband 20 years ago, I just decided not to allow that into our lives. It doesn't change, you can't change what's happened in the past, but I can certainly change how I feel about it today, or in days ahead. And I just decided that I wasn't going to allow it to encroach on my time with my husband, or to change the way I was as a wife. I just decided that enough was enough, and that was yesterday, and I am who I am despite that.
So obviously you and your husband spoke about it when you first met?
I guess we would have. I mean, it's a while ago now, but it's never been something I've kept secret. We, like I said, we don't talk about it a lot. we don't need to anymore. Early on, he was my biggest support, and my listening ear if I needed it, I guess, or whatever I needed at the time. He was there, and so yeah. But now it doesn't really come up in everyday living. We choose not to discuss it.
So did that situation cause complications with you as a couple? Like when you first got together?
Not complications, challenges for me personally, and because I obviously didn't want my husband to feel like there was anything that he was, I didn't want it to be about us. It was something I had to deal with. But yeah, the challenge was obviously learning to value myself as a female, and seeing that sexuality wasn't dirty was probably the biggest challenge.
Is that something you had to work on?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, it was for 8 years of my very young life, I was treated like a piece of meat. And that's how I felt. I felt like there was no value around my sexuality, no value around the beauty of my body as a female, and unfortunately that played out into my early adolescence, and as a teenager, it kind of made it difficult for me to have that innocence of sweet 16. I didn't have that, which I'm a bit sad about, but it's made me a stronger person. So
did that make you, like, before you met your husband, were you just like out there, and because you were kind of growing up with different values, weren't you? So what were you like as a young teenager before you met your husband?
As a teenager, I was always a good kid. I've always been respectful of family. I've always been a massive family person, and those close connections are really vital to me, and that's always been the case. I've always had a big loyalty and trust of people, regardless of what's happened. That I guess could have broken any hope I had to ever trusting anyone again. But
could have.
I was a good kid as a teenager. I just, around that kind of the other side of it, I had no value, and I was promiscuous, which I would like to, if I could go back and do things differently, I would do everything exactly the same, because I believe everything is a pathway to where we are today. But that's probably one thing that took a little bit of dealing with, and that was one thing that I had to process, was that, that's okay. What happened in those few years between the 13 and 17, it's okay. It was just a way of dealing with it, and me not knowing. But I was a good kid.
So then, like, you've got your husband, and you've got a beautiful family, and you put all that behind you, and you were saying to me, because I was talking to you about your mother and how she had great courage and that going through cancer, and that she never discussed with you that it was terminal.
No, she kept that to herself.
How could someone keep that to themselves?
I think. Oh, look, you know what? She's not here to ask. So
that's right. Yeah.
We're fairly confident that she was told that she was terminal, and I think she may have shared it with one of her very closest friends. And when you think about that, that's a really courageous step, because she had 6 kids and all of these grandchildren and nieces and nephews and loved ones that she was just protecting, and so it was her job to keep us from fear, and she did an amazing job of that, because I never thought for 1 minute that I was going to lose Mum, or we were going to lose Mum. So that was a big cow kick to the chest. But
how long ago was that?
This would be, I think, 7 years. 2010, Mum died. So longer. How sad's that? It's gone fast. But so that was her choice, and I can only be grateful for her now, because I really didn't have a day of fear. From the day she told me that she'd been diagnosed with cancer till 2 days before she died, when we were told she was terminal, I didn't have a day of fear of losing her. So she's pretty inspirational in my eyes.
And I think, basically, like we spoke about the fact that your husband had suffered cancer as well, and that you dealt with things a lot differently. It was like a quiet zone when you were talking about cancer. It wasn't like something, the notoriety where everyone was told, and because you wanted to deal with it differently.
Well, we kind of just, we spoke about it to our family and friends and stuff, but we were very, like I said, I think we kind of channel some of Mum's, the inspiration of Mum's strength, and the fact that she was told that she was terminal, and she chose to go through it with, without telling us, because she didn't want to be, pitied or whatever. And so we kind of looked at it like that as well, and we thought, well, she can be that strong, we can be strong. And Craig's incredible, he's incredibly strong, and he held himself at a level so high because he wanted to look after Craig, after the girls and I. He didn't want that fear for us. And so we just didn't want it to be something that, everything was about the cancer. We went through the last 4 years talking to friends and family and using them as support, and but we really just let it be a part of what it needed to be. Like, we needed to go through those steps, but we didn't need it to take over our lives. So, and that made it an easier process.
And that worked for you and your family. That's the main
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, and the way I live is to live with that. There's a positive in every situation, and although that was a really hard time, losing Mum was terrible and whatever, but that taught the positive in that is it taught us how to carry ourselves through Craig's cancer, and that 4 years, Craig and I have become closer. Our kids have become more resilient. We've become closer as a family. It's created a space for us to be creating awareness around early detection. So maybe it will help someone else. So there's a lot of positive to be said that's come out of the last 4 years. So that's how we've.
So then I'll go back to your working career, because so what happened? You met your husband, you've had children, and how did you get into the job that you're in now?
So I actually moved to the Gold Coast after my dad died when we were only young, 13, so just after this whole thing came out with the other person. So Dad came home to us. So that's the other silver lining is that that horrific, that situation brought Dad home. So he came home after 8 years, separated with Mum, and they actually got back together after that for a couple of years, which was pretty cool. But anyway, so I moved to the Gold Coast after Dad passed, and met my husband, got a job at a local pub.
Doing what? Just barmaid?
I
shouldn't say barmaid, but I didn't mean it like that at all, because lots of my girlfriends are barmaids. Hi, girls.
Well, I wasn't even 18. They didn't ask how old I was, so I didn't have to tell them or lie. But I just went in and I have worked for the same gentleman who owns pubs on the coast here ever since.
So how long ago was that?
So that's 22 years ago.
So 22 years ago, you started off
as a bar waitress. And now I'm managing a pub for him, and so now
you're the manager.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get from working behind the bar to be manager?
Oh, look, I kind of just worked my way through all of the departments, really.
Yeah.
But I've been in a management role since probably Macy was a baby, about 12 years, and then been general manager for probably 5, I suppose.
So do you love it?
Yeah. Hospitality's got lots to offer. It's an incredible industry, and lots of fun. Meet great people. I've made some beautiful friends.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? When you actually work in an environment that you can meet other people and. So I guess one thing that, because to me, your life is kind of like spiking, but you're still positive, and you come across as very able-bodied person, and full of guts, I say.
Thank you.
So I mean that the most loving way.
Yeah.
So I figure if there is someone out there, like we say, there's some people that have actually been in that situation and they've not done anything about it. And maybe they're sitting home now, and maybe once they might think about it, they might want to do something about it. So, get in touch with the authorities, please, if that is what you're thinking. I'm not telling anyone to not do that. So don't get me wrong, I'm not advising anyone. All I'm doing is expressing someone else's situation that's a little bit different than most people. So, Deb, there's someone at home now who's thinking the same way as you. and they're wondering like, how do I get through it, or how do I get to the next level, or I now want to meet someone, I'm ready to meet someone, but how do I get over that situation where I've met them and we might get intimate and all those memories might come flooding back. Like, maybe you could explain to someone about what worked for you, how it worked, how to go about it, and how you get up of a day and you feel fabulous and you get on with what you're doing. Like, what makes you tick?
Look, I think gratitude. I have so much to be grateful for. I am grateful for what happened to me as a child. I'm grateful for who else that brought into my life and the strength that it gave me, or the strength I found within myself. It didn't give me any strength. I had that strength within myself, and I am grateful that I've discovered that. I'm grateful for so much in my life that I don't have time to be angry about it. And I think if for those that may not have figured that out yet, if you just go within yourself and look at your life, there's so much around you that you can be thankful for, and focus on that. So I guess day to day, I do wake up really happy every day. I am a happy, high energy person because there's so much around me to make me smile. And I could easily look for the anger and the negativity, but I just choose to put that to the side, appreciate it for what it is, and then that's this portion, but this is so much bigger and more and so much brighter. As far as a relationship goes, embrace the fact that there will be up days and down days. I'm not saying that it never enters my mind. I just go, you know what, that's a thought. It's happened to so many other women and men in the world, and I kind of feel sad for them as much as I feel sad for myself, and I hope that they can find peace like I have. So I kind of go, well, it's not just you. It's not, you're not that special. So just move on with life. And so I go, right, that was that thought. And then I go, but now you're going to go out and be a great mum and a great wife and great in the community. And so I just find strength in the fact that I'm surrounded by so much more positive, and I physically look for the positive, and the negative thought comes in and then I send it out.
So you just literally just say, away with you.
Yeah, I just choose not to be negative. I still get upset and I still have times, but
what do you do in those times? Like, if I know you're saying that you just say, right, go away, like that thought, and you're in that situation and now there's thoughts coming back, or this whole situation coming back. And I know that it can happen because it might happen because of a smell, or time of the day, or a certain thing that somebody does that can trigger it. So would you just go, right, I'm not taking that on board, or would you go and sit somewhere quiet and, talk yourself out of it, sort of thing? Or
no, I think I just, it comes up a lot as a mum now. Like, I'm a mother, and I so it comes up a lot then, and so I just I redirect my focus. I redirect my focus. And, like I said, I accept that it happened. I accept what happened, and then I look at how much greatness has been since then. And I just redirect my thought.
So compare the beauty around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that until it just swarms all that other stuff out, and it just becomes,
I think,
like you say, a thought.
Life has chapters, and so I don't think you can read a book without reading chapter 2 or 3. You have to appreciate that, that there's going to be differences. Like you said, my life has been spikes and definitely highs, lots more highs than ever of lows. But you can't read a book or finish a book without that. So that was just chapter 2 and 3, and now I'm up to 28, and it's amazing.
So if you were to, if one of your daughters come to you and talked about a certain situation, what would you say to them?
I would hope that I could teach my kids, and any kids, or anyone. I hope that they could find self-worth. That's probably been the most. I haven't had professional help, but I've worked on myself, and personal development's been incredibly empowering to me, and to learn that I'm valuable, you know, both in personality and in look and in body and as a sexual woman and as a, you know, so I would like my kids to see themselves as worthy of value, and you know that although it's okay to be beautiful and sexual, it's, you know, you don't need to, that's not your selling point. That's not your only selling point. So, you know, hold yourself at a higher standard, see yourself as of worth and higher worth.
And we're also saying too, because I know that it happens with me as well, but we were talking earlier about how you get that gut feeling about someone. And I say, to me, that's what works for me. So I'm not saying for everyone it works for everyone. Or I'm not saying stand in judgment of people either. I'm just saying for me, I just get a funny feeling. And I'd say 10 out of 10 times I'm right. Because something happens down the track. So it's like I feel like I've got this built-in detector. Do you feel like that too? Do you feel like you get that feeling from...
Oh, I definitely have a higher sensitivity to who's who in the zoo. I certainly look into people and I look closely at people. Like I said earlier, it didn't ever... despite what happened, I'm still a very trustworthy trusting person, and trustworthy, but I'm still a very trusting person, and I still look for the best in everyone. But at the end of the day, I can see, though, if you make my hair stand on end, I trust that intuition.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about just even in that sense that for the predatory one. I'm talking about just in everyday life. I think it's really important to trust yourself. Your intuition it's there, and be in spirit and be connected to what your thoughts and your feelings are, because it's there to protect us. And so I think it's important to be trusting, and it's important to see the good in people, but it's also important to be conscious of how you feel about someone in whether it was business or personal, around your children or in your own space. I'm really conscious of who I let into my space. I have no energy for those who are just going to suck my energy or bring me down.
And you get that feeling like
I kind of go, oh, you know what? Yeah.
And a lot of us do that. I mean, and there's a lot of people out there that have spoken to me about that feeling, but they just didn't know what it was. It was like, I feel like butterflies in my tummy, and that person's around.
Yeah.
Well, why have you got the butterflies in your tummy? Are they good butterflies or are they bad, heavy elephants?
Yeah.
Like what ones are there? So, I mean, to me, it's important to be in touch with yourself and to understand that these creepy crawly feelings that you get are very real, that Mother Nature has given them to us, to a lot of us. And for those that understand it and know how we work, that, we should take that feeling, and if we get that feeling, trust it. Trust yourself, trust within to do something about it, and it might just mean that you don't allow that person to be in your home.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
And that's
your right. You're not going to tell them.
No, you have that right to, and it's your job is to protect yourself and your family. So I think, you just make that decision and work them out of your lives. And, that's probably, you learn that as you get a bit older and you get a bit,
wiser.
I was going to say, but that makes me feel a bit older than I probably am. But yeah, you do.
You can be wise at a very young age.
But yeah, I think you do. It comes, and look, I think with this whole thing, it's definitely a process. So how I feel about it this year is different to last year. How I feel about it today is going to be different to what I will be in a year. And I think that's the other message, is that don't expect it just to be all, okay, I don't have nightmares now. That doesn't mean that I don't have other concerns or things that upset me through the day, or once a week or once a month or whatever. And I think, just process it as the time goes. And that's with any, we've all come against adversity and tragedy. Just processes it organically. Don't try and force the process. I think.
And in your own time.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we've spoken about too, previously, that everyone is different. Everyone's completely different.
Yeah.
When you're getting over something, no matter what it is, even like health, you know, we're all so different about our management and what exactly happens, and our bodies are so different. Everything's so different. So everyone to their own. Some people might go through a tragedy and take years of laying on the lounge. You know, that's okay too. If that's who you are, if that is what you need to get through what you've got to get through, do it. But I mean, if you're in a bit of a rut, you know, make sure you tell someone, and, you know, speak to people that you love and trust that are around you. Speak to your network. And if you haven't got anyone in your life that you trust, I mean, ring an organisation that you can talk to, such as Lifeline or someone like that, that you can speak to and get it off your chest, because sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah, and you know, I think that I was really blessed. I had a support group around me. If I hadn't have had my husband and my mum and my mother-in-law and my sister and, you know, family and friends to look after me and to, you know, pour my heart out to if I needed to, I probably would have gone to, you know, the professional help. But I think, you know, it depends who you've got in your circle. But social media is incredible now. You know, the blessing of social media is that you can connect to someone anywhere in the world by typing in, you know, a support group.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to have a connection with people that have been in the same situation. And I think that's, you know, when you realise that you're not the only one, and that it's okay to feel this because other people felt it, or you know, you get it off your chest. Maybe it's just social media and you don't even have to physically say it, because sometimes saying it is just disgusting. You know, it disgusts me to actually say it.
Because you're bringing back on
You're reliving it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just connecting with someone on social media, it's not, you know, it's easy to type. So, you know, maybe social media is a way where you could find some support as well.
Yeah, good idea. So, and I mean, also we've got onthecouchwithkelly.com that you can go to, and you can leave a message on my website that no one else will see. It's totally private. I'm the only one that reads it. So if you just go to my website, www.onthecouchwithkelly, as in KELLIE.com, and just scroll through there and you'll see where you can leave a message for me. So if you want contact or assistance with anything, you know, feel free to leave a message there. And like I said, I'm the only one that sees it, so it certainly is a private message. So it looks like we've almost come to the end of the show, and each and every week I like to say my thank yous to some of the people that have tuned in, because without you guys doing this each and every week, I can't mention everyone, but I'm happy to mention some of them. Sheena Briggs, thank you, Sheena. Like, I've just come from Brisbane, so I'm on my way down because we're on the road trip, hence season 3. So we'll be going to Tambourine Mountains tomorrow to do 2 shows. So stay tuned tomorrow night. We'll have one at 4 o'clock, and I think we've got one around 5. So tune in tomorrow. So thank you, Sam Caldwell. Also, Sam was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and what an amazing interview. So we've got Lainey Jarrett. Thank you, Lainey. Shireen Lowe. Thank you, Shireen Lowe, you beautiful girl. Thanks for your hospitality in Brisbane too. And Shireen Lowe is mother of our last show that we just did recently, Ryan Lowe, talking about living with ADHD. What an amazing young man he is. Joanne Quirk, thank you, Joanne. Tom McKenna, thank you, Tom. Kate Smitties, thank you, Katie, you little darling. And thank you, Sharon Sharp. So good to see that dinosaur of a computer kicks in every week and you're able to send me a little message. God bless you. Belinda Lydiard, thank you, Belinda. Debbie O'Donoghue, thank you, Debbie O'Donoghue. You'd have to be one of my biggest fans. Thank you so much for each and every week tuning in and having a listen to my show. I really appreciate your support. And Leah Jones, Georgina Harry, thank you, Georgina, and hoping that Greece is fantastic. And and thank you everyone for joining in and participating in what I think is a great show in helping everyone, you know, with whatever situations that you're going through, that I know in my heart that you guys can get through it. Now, whether it's, you know, contacting me, contacting Lifeline, talking to loved ones, talking to anyone, you know, do it. No matter what in life, like I say to you, no matter what in life, do not give up. Know that you've got people that will be supportive, and there are people and companies out there that will help you. So from me, I'll say goodbye and know that everything's going to be okay. So thank you very much, and thank you, Debbie, for being part of my beautiful show.
You're welcome.
Thanks everyone.
Thank
Bye
you.
for now.